child.
He saw his buddies getting blown up.
There was a gas can sitting in the middle of the road, and he freaked. He thought it was a roadside bomb.
They come home and our war starts.
Realized that the Zoloft, made me want to kill myself.
I don't want to go home and blow my brains out.
Nick was sitting in the dark with a gun in his mouth.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, a psychological condition afflicting of some estimates 1 in 3 American servicemen and women.
This PBS presentation is dedicated to the soldiers who have suffered from PTSD. Today we will go through Johnny Smithsonian's story through the eyes of his family. Johnny died on June 1st, 2003, after committing suicide on a meth overdose. Here are the interviews between his mother, sister, and I. Please enjoy this presentation.
Nice to meet you, Maria. So, when Johnny went to Iraq, did you notice anything different, like from his letters coming back home? Or any different signs, anything you could tell?
Well, at first he was very enthusiastic and he was happy to go. And in his letters, before the real action started happening for him, he was pretty excited still. And then later, during his tour, I noticed more of a sad tone in his letters.
Really? And what was he mentioning? Anything specific, like how he felt towards what was going on in the war? Was there anything you noticed that was definitely strange?
Well, he's not one to admit that he's scared, but I could tell that he didn't like the killing that was happening.
It's very common for people to go to the war and not want to admit that they don't want to tell anyone that in their group or the group that they feel horrible because it's kind of a way to be shunned. It's a bad thing to have. And so my other question would have to be, when he came back home, obviously like arriving back on the bus, was there anything strange that happened just seeing him? Was he different than when he left? Like anything just like physically, even just emotionally, the way he talked?
Well, at first when I saw him, I was just so happy to see him that I kind of overlooked some very important things. Like I noticed now that he smoked cigarettes a lot and he started to drink a lot.
Yeah.
And just like the littlest things would kind of send him off into, like rampages of yelling, and he'd get so angry.
And was he as social as he used to be? Because I know it's obviously
absolutely not. He stopped contacting his friends. His girlfriend noticed it too. They didn't see each other as often.
His girlfriend, speaking of, does she ever talk to you? Has anyone ever just told you maybe he's acting weird? Never any hints at all?
I mean, people have mentioned it, but when I try to talk to Johnny about it, he completely denies. Well, he did deny anything that happened.
Yeah. So I know he died on June 1st, is that correct? He overdosed on meth, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you said he never used drugs before, it was just that...
Not that I know of. He was very into sports, very athletic, very healthy, and I knew he was deteriorating. I should have done something a lot sooner, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm so sorry for your loss. Thank you for coming to the interview.
This is Sarah, Johnny's little sister, and here's her interview. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
So our first question is, obviously you grew up with Johnny. It was a good household relationship. Everything was normal, no major fights or anything. Every once in a while, of course, but...
Yeah, normal brother-sister relationship.
That's nice. And so, was Johnny ever really interested in the war? Like, anything he ever, said that made him you think he wanted to go to the war when he's older?
Not so much. He liked helping people, so he would probably like helping his country.
Yeah. In school, was he a good student? Just a good guy?
Yeah.
No fights?
No.
So he seemed like a normal guy growing up?
Yeah, very friendly.
When he decided to go to the army, did that surprise you? Or were you happy for him? What was your reaction to it?
Well, I didn't want him to leave, obviously. He's my big brother. I looked up to him. So when I found out he was going, I got really sad. But he was happy, which made me kind of look at it happier.
That makes sense. And so my question for you, I asked your mother this also. When Johnny came back home, was there anything significantly different emotionally? Do you notice anything as soon as he came off that bus that was different?
Well, he didn't take me out as much. We used to go out to dinner every Sunday night, and he wouldn't do that anymore. And he wouldn't call up his friends as much or anything like that. He would just stay in his room.
And that was weird for him because he never had done that before.
Yeah.
Were you worried?
Well, I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
I would ask my mom, but she didn't really want to talk about it with me.
And I understand the government tells you that, because of your family, that you should, the first couple months, just let them be. It's okay. It happens to everyone else. Do you think that's kind of it's a bad thing for them to tell you that because you don't ever know if it could be PTSD?
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course. When Johnny began, you really seemed like some symptoms that you noticed. Of course, you noticed them, right?
Yes.
What were they? I mean, just socially acting strange?
He was smoking a lot more cigarettes. He wouldn't come out very much of his room. And when he did come out, he wouldn't talk. So yeah, social stuff.
And did you know about any drug use? Anything he's done?
No, he wouldn't really tell me about any of that. He didn't talk to me anymore.
And on meth overdose, you must have been surprised and obviously devastated.
Yeah, I didn't really see it coming. I mean, I knew he was a little depressed coming back, but I didn't think it was that serious. So yeah, it was pretty devastating.
And what would you say, do you feel like because this event has happened in your life, that you would want to go out and make sure that people who feel this way can be accepted and can go somewhere so they don't have to resort to what your brother did?
That would be good, to start a program or something like that.
And I mean, I know a lot of people think it's sad that people are unable to express themselves when they work because it's considered cowardly. Do you agree with that? Do you feel sad that your brother wasn't able to come to anyone to tell you that?
Well, of course I agree with that. I mean, he should always have someone to go to and talk to, and anybody should always have someone to talk to.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for the interview.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry about your loss.
A car door slamming can sound like a gunshot to you, and you freak out, and you think you're back in Iraq.
There's the length of today's wars. 9 years now for Afghanistan. Then, there's the lack of rest time between deployments in the all-professional army. And most of all, perhaps, the conflicts have no front lines and no resting place because the enemy is often buried under the road.
And when an IED hits the convoy, you're supposed to shoot at known, likely, and suspected areas. And there was a known, likely, and suspected area that I shot at. And it happened to be that there was a child in that area, and I shot the child. Do all this stuff, and I can't get this image of me killing this child out of my head. I can see you, and I know if I reach out and touch you, I'll feel you. But with him, if I reach out and touch, I won't feel him.
The army gives a soldier drugs for his nerves, sleep, for all that ails him. But the child he shot still remains in his mind.
Pills mask the problem. They don't help it. There's not a pill that makes PTSD go away. I'm on antipsychotics, sleeping meds, tranquilizers. It's gonna be there for probably the rest of my life.
As Barack Obama sends more troops overseas, another army is slowly and painfully returning home. Tens of thousands of men and women who have put down their rifles and taken off their uniforms still struggle with the war inside themselves.